Hello, and welcome to the Stolen Minutes podcast. My name is Carrie, and I'm coming to you from Ohio, where I live with my husband, our 2 daughters, and our 4 cats. This is a knitting podcast. I'm going to call this my first video for Vlogmas 2023. I do not know how often I will publish a video. I'm hoping to get one maybe weekly or so. Today is Sunday, December 3rd, so we are already into our Advent knitting, if that is something that you do. I am doing that this year, and I will talk about what projects I am knitting for Advent, but I also have a couple of other projects that might end up taking some precedence over my Advent knitting, so we'll see. I'm just gonna go with it this year. I don't like making plans with my knitting that is really set in stone or has to be really follow like a rigid schedule, because I just don't operate that way. I almost feel like when I make a knitting goal, I fight against it, and then sometimes it doesn't come to fruition. So I just don't like to make promises to myself because life gets busy, and honestly, knitting is probably one of the first things that gets put on the back burner when things get busy. Today I'm going to talk about a couple of finished objects that I have off the needles. One is a gift that is going to be gifted this week, so I thought, oh, I need to get that shown so that I can package that up. And the other one is a Christmas gift, so I have time, but it's done, so let's talk about it. And then I'm going to show you what is on my needles, a couple Advent projects, as well as a couple gifts and a for me knit. So let's go ahead and talk about what is off my needles. These are both pretty freshly off the needles. I finished them at the end of November. The first one is a porty hat. And I showed this on the needles, I believe, on my last podcast. And this is a hat by Ysolda Teague, and it is a great 1x1 rib hat. It is one of her swatchless hats. I absolutely love all of her swatchless hat patterns. The Musselburgh is one of them, and I am currently knitting number 10 of that. Love that pattern. This is the 3rd porty hat that I've knit. This one I did out of a worsted weight yarn. It's Universal Yarns in a, I can't remember the exact name, but it's a green tweed. So it was in my stash. It's a worsted weight. I had a ball, and I ended up with just a ball, maybe like double the size of a golf ball left. So it didn't use all of it, which was great. I didn't know I hadn't done a worsted weight. I've done 2 DK weight hats, and I hadn't done a worsted, and I kind of think this might be my favorite. Oh wait, I take that back. I've done a DK and then an Aran heavy worsted weight and this worsted weight. So, yeah. So I had made the Aran weight heavy worsted and really, really liked that. So I was pretty sure that the worsted weight would work really well. And it does. You pick your appropriate size needles that you think are going to work for your hat with your yarn that you are choosing, and you begin knitting. And when you get about 1 inch or so, you measure your gauge, you find your gauge, you find the size hat that you want. It's all the way from baby through an adult extra large, I believe. And I tend to always knit the adult large. She's done all of the math for you, so it just makes for a nice, really mindless knit. Once you're through all of the increases and stuff, you're good. And so I made the length of the hat, I believe 1 inch or 2 longer than what it says in the pattern, because I wanted a nice big brim to turn up. So this is going to go to the custodian at my husband's school. My husband is a music teacher, and so custodians are very invaluable to him in helping set up for his programs and concerts and things. And this man in particular has just been a really great guy. And so I'm knitting him a hat, and he loves my peanut butter fudge that I make every year to take in huge tubs for the school. And I always make him his own little special tin just for him, because I know that he doesn't get into the lounge the way that the teachers do. So yeah, so this will be his hat, and we'll be gifting this to him this week. So I'm excited to hear how he likes it. I won't be able to be there when he gets it, but it'll be fun. And the other finished object that I have off the needles is a Musselburgh hat, and this one is for my niece, and she is 5, and this yarn is Ridiculous Yarns, and the name of it is Butterfly Effect, and it's a sparkle base too, so she's gonna love it. I used one skein, and I ran out at the end, so around here I ran out, so I had just some DK in my stash, and I pulled out this darker purple, light purple, and then there was like this gold with pink, but not a big deal. You guys all know the Musselburgh pattern, and it's a big tube. Again, it's one of Yisolda Teague's swatchless hats. So you have this big tube, and you take one end and you tuck it up into the other. I have not blocked this yet, so it still feels like it needs to relax a little bit. And then you turn up the brim, and you have this nice like 4 layers of hat over your ears. And this was a DK weight yarn, so this will be a nice cuddly cozy hat for her. So yeah, this will be a Christmas gift. I normally have knit her a sweater, but this year I just was kind of at a loss for what to knit her. I made her a vest last year, and I think I'm actually going to do that again, but it'll be for her birthday instead of Christmas, because this is the second hat that I've knit her this like half of the year. So that is what I will be giving her. And so that is everything that is off of my needles as of recent. I finished those, and what have I been knitting since? I guess we can talk about what is on my needles. So let's just continue with gift knitting. So I finished those 2 hats, and then I started thinking, I don't know, I guess I went down in my basket of kind of pushed aside projects that I had been working on at some point, and then they just fell by the wayside. And one of the things that was down there was a pair of fingerless mitts, and they are this close to being done. So I'm just like on the palm, and I have the thumb and this rib. So the cool thing about these, and these are the Point Edwards mitts by Fairlight Fibers. I actually made myself a pair back in March of 2022, and that is when I cast these on as well. And I think my original plan was maybe to knit a pair for each of my girls, but I don't know, my interest in it just started to wane. So I kept the first pair for me. I think I got it done. I was like, whoa, I actually really want these. I'm going to gift these to my sister. Sometimes you don't need all that, or you need your fingers out for a little bit. So they're really nice. It's a DK weight yarn, and you can roll it down so that way you can have your fingers out if you need them, but you can also flip that ribbing up and it makes a mitten. And so they are very versatile, I think. And so I wanted to make them scrappy. And so I've had some of this DK. I think some of it is Homespun House, and I don't know what, maybe some of it is, some of it is Madeline Tosh DK. But for the most part, it's just kind of leftovers. This pink is the, is the Madeline Tosh. Pop Rocks is the name. So I think I had used this in a Stephen West hat that I knit. And so I had it left over. So so that is what I'm going to finish, and that will be fantastic because it'll be a nice gift that she will be able to use, and I will get a project that otherwise would probably sit around on the needles needlessly because there's not much left. I have the ribbing, and then I have the ribbing on the thumb and weaving in the ends, and they're done. So yeah, I'm excited to get those finished and have a gift with, that was half finished and that she'll love. And so then after I finished this muscle bra for my niece, I realized, oh my gosh, like my sister, I've knit one hat for her, and it's just a basic rib brim stockinette with a pom-pom, but they live in Chicago, and so their walk to school, while it's only 5-10 minutes, it can be cold. So I realized I have knit a muscle bra for everyone in my family except my sister, and she could really use one for those cold walks to school. And so I started looking in my stash, and I thought, oh, she'll want something that's, kind of wild, but also, that she wants to wear. And so I found this skein of yarn in my stash. I don't know what the name of this yarn is. It was in my stash, and I just thought it would be perfect. So it's really fun. I love how it worked up stripy in the beginning. And I think now it's maybe going to settle into these 2 or 3 row. It's spiral, of course, but wider kind of stripes. So I think that's really fun. And so from a distance, it's going to look mostly like black and white, just like a high contrast, but up close it's got pink and turquoise and green and gold. It's just really fun. So so this is gonna be a muscle bra. This is number 10 on my needles that I have made. So this is going to be a great pick it up and take it in the car, or if I just need easy, no thinking knitting that I don't want to fuss with, this will be what I make for that. The other 2 projects that I have on the needles are my Advent socks and a sweater. Let's talk about Advent socks first. So I love to do socks. I love stripy socks, and the past few years I have done the Cozy Knitter Advent, and last year I added in the Freckled Whimsy Advent self-striping socks. So the idea is that you're going to knit 1 stripe every day up through of December up through the Christmas Eve. I'm doing the Cozy Knitter and I'm doing the Freckled Whimsy again this year, but I didn't get my 4 cuffs done for either one beforehand. The first one I have in one of my older projects bags that I made several years ago. I love these nutcrackers. I just cannot not use this bag. So inside, so this is our medium size project bag. I feel like in the past, I might have put them in a small. I don't think so. I think I did individual bags for each one, but this year I thought, no, I want to put them all together. So what I did is, it's kind of hard to show. Okay, there we go. So I've got the 2, I ordered the balls that already came separated into each sock. So I have 1 pair, and I used my reading glasses. I just keep a pair in here because, especially the past few days, I cannot knit without wearing my reading glasses. It's kind of gotten a little ridiculous. So she sends a little postcard in there that talks about how the stripes aren't going to start on the same color for every pair and all that. So anyways, I just use that to divide my bag in half long ways. And so I have the cuff color there. I don't know if I'm going to do the toe in that color. I just got to see how long I can get the foot with the stripes. So I have 1 cuff completed, and these are are really pretty. I opened it up and was like, ooh, brown. That's different. And I didn't, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be curious. But now I think I'm really, really liking it. So I only have that one cuff started on the Freckled Whimsy. I haven't even put a stripe on it, and it's December 3rd. But it's wound up. It's ready to go. I load up my ring. We put these in all of our bags, and for my socks, I need 2 stitch markers and a bulb marker. And so I load up my bag with that before I even get started. That is just part of my process. And so that is Advent project number 1. Advent number 2 is also in a medium bag. This is another older print that we did a couple of years ago. And I have the same setup in here with my cozy knitter. And you can see I have 3 of those cuffs done. And on the first, I put the first stripe on. And it was this pretty brown color, kind of a fawn. And so I put that, I got the first one done. And this morning, I finished up a second cuff, and I have a third one just started. And the fourth one I will start after this one. So I got the little cream mini that went with them. That's how I've knit my past cozy knitters. I've done the cream colored heel toe cuff. And so after I finish this cuff and I cut the yarn, I will start the fourth one. And that is how that will work. And again, I loaded it up with my bulb marker and 2 stitch markers per sock. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to having time to sit down and work on those. But in the meantime, they will just live in here, and that way I can pick them up and take them over to the kitchen table, or if we're watching TV, and I can just sit and knit on these. So, but these aren't as portable as the Muscle Burrow will be, because not that it would matter if I got ahead as far as on stripes, but they just don't feel quite as just knit and not worry about what you're knitting or think about what you're knitting. So I tend to, if I'm caught up, I will pull out that entire day's color and knit just to the next color change, and then I put it away until the next day. So ideally that is how I will work that, but it's kind of looking like I'm going to have catch-up days. So that is Advent number 2. So that is it for my Advent knitting. And yeah, like I said, if it takes me through Christmas to get all 4 pairs of those done, totally fine with that. So then the last thing that I'm going to share that is on my needles is the field sweater. I know I talked about this in my last podcast. It is a sweater with a textured yoke. It has what the designer calls grains, and that is the textured stitch pattern, and it is all through the yoke, and then it's stuck in it. So one of the test knitters had knit the entire body of the sweater and yoke in cream, but on the yoke section, she added a strand of mohair that was pink. And so it really made those grains just pop out. And immediately my brain thought of some yarn that I've had in my stash and wanted to use. So the first color was this green. And the second color in my stash was a red. And as soon as I saw that pattern, I thought, oh my goodness, because the green, here's the quandary. The green, I only have 4 skeins of, and it's a DK weight yarn. The pattern calls for DK. I don't have enough of this to knit the kind of sweater that I would want, as far as with like longer sleeves and all that good stuff. So I don't have enough of it by itself, yardage wise, to get a sweater. And then the red is newer to my stash, and I only have 2 skeins of it, but it is the most perfect Christmas red. So when I saw that pattern and saw those two, the way that the test knitter had added the pink mohair, I thought, oh my goodness, maybe that is the answer to my red and green, because they just scream Christmas to me. And I've never knit a Christmas sweater. I think I've always been hesitant because it's not something I think about until it's kind of like, oh, I really want to wear that now. So I'm taking a leap. I generally don't even jump really quickly on a new pattern that when it comes out. I generally just have other things on the needles, and I'm not going to set them aside to cast on a new sweater. But, you know, for Advent, we kind of set ourselves up to have our needles ready to do that. And I thought, you know what? Advent knitting can take a back seat if it needs to. Let's do this sweater. Let's just jump right in. So that's what I am doing. So I'm still, I know that I will figure it out when I get there, but, you know, I've read ahead through the pattern, and I've seen lots of people, having lots of thoughts about the yoke on this. And the basic consensus is that it is only work on that when you sit down. In fact, the designer even has like a little note section where she says, if you have to get up to let the dog out, if you have to get up to answer the door, if you're not going to finish the round, make sure that you are tracking where you are in the pattern at all times, because the rows, I guess, are not easy to count when you're in the middle of it, and it's kind of the type of pattern where you don't want to rip out those stitches. It's kind of a cable type technique. So last night, or yesterday, I cast on the neck, and last night I knit the neck, and I am knitting this. It is Madeline Tosh Sport, in the color Blood Runs Cold, and I am holding it together with a Knit Picks silk mohair, because I just wanted that fuzziness. So I'm going to do the part that she did pink. That will be in my red held with mohair. And then where it gets kind of tricky is where the motif, the grains come down into the body of the sweater, that will be green. So at that point, I know I'm going to have to like really be thinking. But so I'm ready for the first row that starts the grains. And so I think once I get off here, that is what I'm going to work on, because I have the house to myself, and it's quiet, and I can think. So I'm very excited, and I hope that it all goes to plan. And if I have it to wear for Christmas Day, fantastic. If I don't, that's okay. I will still wear it when it's done, no matter what time of year it is. Hopefully it will still be winter, and hopefully still 2023. So that is all that is on my needles. I have not done any more on my ranunculus. I finished that first sleeve. I have the second one ready to put back on the needles and knit, but honestly, I have enough on my plate, and that can wait until all of this knitting is done. So that is that. What else? It's going to be a good week ahead. We have a winter band concert this week that I'm excited about. I will be taking my muscle bra and knitting during that, because it's just straight knitting. So even though the lighting will be less than I could really see, I will take that and be able to knit on that during the concert if I want to. What else? I'm excited. I'm going to get together with a friend from college. She lives in the same town as me here, but our lives are just busy. And so we get together maybe once, twice, 3 times a year, but she's a great friend. And so I'm really excited to get together and chat with her. it's one of those friends where you get together, and even if you haven't seen each other for a long time, it feels like no time has passed, you know. Our kids are pretty close in age, so it's just really great to get together with somebody who has known you for a long time. So we always have fun and chat forever and wish that we had more time. It's going to be a cool rainy week today. It's just kind of gray out. I think there's a chance of sprinkles, a little bit of rain maybe at some point. So it's a perfect day to stay inside and knit. I might do a little bit of laundry. I have some to fold, you know, just house stuff, whatever. It'll be a nice little break to knit. I still have to be kind of careful because my elbow can still give me a little bit of fits. Like if I knit for very long, I can feel it. It'll feel tight. And so I need to take a break and kind of do some stretches to keep that from getting overworked, because I certainly don't want to be impaired when it comes to getting my advents and my sweater done. So gotta take care of myself. Yeah, so it's gonna be a cool rainy week still. So we are getting into soup season and cornbread. I have a couple soups on the menu for this week. I'll probably do a tortilla soup and a white chicken chili soup. One thing that I want to make that I haven't made for, it feels like a couple of years. It was really popular for a while, like even before, it was like before COVID, but it was like 18-hour crusty bread or something, where you would mix everything up in like a blue Dutch oven, and you'd put the lid on, and I believe maybe put your oven on like a really low temp for a little bit for it to warm up, and then you put that bread in there, and I feel like it rises overnight or something, and then you bake it, and it just makes this like yummy loaf of bread. So I kind of want to make that, but I have to think far enough ahead to allow for that rising time. It is seriously like I think it's called overnight crusty bread. I think that's what it's called. So, you know, you're looking at like a 12 to 18 hour period before you're going to bake it that you need to prep this and have it rising. So I have to think ahead on that and pick a day when I have time to prep that and then bake it the next day. So, but my memory of it is that it is super yummy and we all love it, and it lasts for a while because it makes a big loaf. So yeah. So I'm going to hop off here. I think that's all I have. Thanks for watching. Welcome if you're new. I guess I should have said that at the very beginning, but if you're new here, welcome. I will treat these Vlogmases as a little bit of like normal podcast too, with like finished things, but honestly, because Advent knitting lasts the whole month, I probably won't have a whole lot. Hopefully I'll have this field sweater to share as a finished object, but yeah, we'll see what all we get up to. I hope you guys all have a great December. I hope you have plenty of time with family and friends, good food, great making, knitting, crochet, sewing, whatever you're up to. I hope you get lots of stolen minutes in your day. They don't have to be minutes that I don't say stolen minutes in a way that you're not deserving of them, or that you're, you know, anything like that. It's just minutes that you're taking for yourself. And so they can tend to feel like stolen minutes when your days are busy and maybe you are thinking, oh, I should be doing something else. But no, stolen minutes are important and you deserve every single one of them. So, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thanks for hanging out with me, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye. Advent update. Today is Wednesday, December 6th, and let's see what I have done. So I have Cozy Knitter Advent in this bag. I'm doing 2 pairs, so I have my 2 sets of 50-gram minis, and I got the mini skein to go along with that. So I have 2 pairs of socks in a medium bag, and I just took the postcard that she comes with and put it in between them as a little divider. So I have that pair in there. And in my other bag, I have Freckled Whimsy, same thing. I just put the postcard in the middle. And I also got the mini to go with that. So I have 1 pair over here, 1 pair over here. So let's see how far I am today on day 6. So Freckled Whimsy, I have 1 sock ready for today's color, and I've pulled out just a little bit of it, and it is this really pretty blue, so I'm excited to get that added on there. The mate to this pair I did not do yesterday, and the second pair of socks I have not even started. I've got my needles waiting in there. I just haven't even cast on the cuff, so that is for another day. I was working on my Cozy Knitter this morning, and I thought, maybe I should make a goal to get whatever stripe I have for that day to do, and then start a cuff that still needs started. We'll see. So I did that today. I had 1 cuff started for my Cozy Knitter, and I finished that up this morning. I actually realized partway in that I had dropped a stitch a good like 6-7 rows down, so I'm glad I caught that when I did. So Cozy Knitter, here is where I stand with that. This one I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I did not do yesterday's. I was somewhere in the green and got caught up to that day, and so I needed to pause at that point. And yeah, so I have the cuff to this one started, and I've got this cuff that I just finished this morning, and I still have 1 set of empty needles to do the other cuff for the second pair. So I don't know when I will get that done. Hi, Shadow. Yeah. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, I know. You're very concerned about all of this. Okay, come on up. So that is the state of my Advents. I know. We need more knitting time, don't we, buddy? Yeah. So I have 1 pair of Freckled Whimsy on its way, a Cozy Knitter halfway. Yeah, this is helpful. So that is the state of my Advents, but we'll get there. I was picking a pair of socks to wear today, I started pulling all of my Christmassy socks together and put them in the front of this drawer. and I discovered that I have 16 pairs. So starting on Sunday, I am going to only wear my Christmas socks. Let's do a quick little Advent update. It is Friday, December 8th. Let's start with Freckled Whimsy. I have done just maybe a little bit more since Wednesday. Today is this light blue color, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So then that one after this light blue stripe will be caught up. And as you can see, my second sock, not close. And I still have the 2 empty needles for the second pair of those. So those are my Freckled Whimsy. And the second one is Cozy Knitter. And I don't think I've done much except for, I think 3 are started. So these 2 are pretty close. And the second pair, yeah, I still have an empty set of needles. So I've got, these 2 pairs are nowhere near close. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on like the 4th. So I'm like 4 days behind on this. This one I'm even more behind on, maybe 6 days, 7 days. And this one I have yet to even start the cuff. So I still have 3 cuffs total to start. I've got the 1 Cozy Knitter and I have 2 for Freckled Whimsy to start. Maybe I'll get caught up this weekend, but I'm also working on my field sweater. So I'll show you that one next. This is my field sweater. I have it in a large project bag and it has a lot going on in here, but it is doing its job. So this is a bag from last year, or no, a couple years ago with the dinosaurs. Anyhow, but this is my field sweater. Oh my goodness. I am so excited. It is really fun to work on. Oh, I have my Pearl Smith stitch marker. I love, 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 love her stitch markers. They are so pretty. I tend to be kind of a minimalist when it comes to what I use on my knitting. Honestly, I think she is the only stitch markers that I use that have a dangle to them. Otherwise, I prefer just a ring. I don't even care if they have anything on them. I did get into making stitch markers several years ago. And I just made a whole bunch for myself. And they honestly are my favorite sock knitting markers because they're little. I did mine with a bead on it where I used that to glue the join. But anyway, you don't care about that. But this is my field sweater. There's just been a lot of talk about the pattern, and some people are really kind of grouchy about it, and I've been enjoying it. I mean, I did come into it prepared, I think, because I was anticipating that maybe it would be bad or frustrating, but honestly, it's not been horrible. The biggest thing I think is keeping this grain stitch, the first part of it, loose. That's the main thing that I've read, so I've really tried to be diligent about that. It is making a pretty thick fabric, so this is going to be a warm sweater. And with all sweater projects, honestly, my biggest fear is just, I hope that it fits, you know? You hope that your gauge came out right, and oh my goodness, look at my socks. I mean, I don't think they're the same yarn. I don't believe this is Madelinetosh. I cannot remember what this yarn is, but these are some cabled socks that I knit as a class when I worked at a yarn shop. It was really fun. This is one of Tracy from the Grocery Girls, her pattern. It starts with a G, like Galileo or something. I don't know. Anyways, but that's those socks. Look at that red. Well, that is fun. So anyways, all right. this is my field sweater. I'm super excited, and I will be working on this weekend. So yeah, that's it. Happy Catterday. I got these two goofs over here with me, and I am casting on my 4th cuff of the Cozy Knitter Advent. I have 2 of them that I haven't done much more than what I've shown you. Just, you know, I got up to like day 4 or 5, and last night I cast this on and got the first color on. So this morning I had just a little bit of time here, so I thought, well, let's just go ahead and cast on that 4th one. Better to have it cast on and maybe get that cuff done, and then it's just straight knitting. And I've kind of decided that when I sit down to knit, I'm not really going to worry about staying on the days. I'm just going to knit on whatever one I pick out for however long I knit on it. So yeah, that's my plan. But these guys are the star of the show, let's be honest. Ooh, they're so comfy. Yeah. Yeah, dear babies.